Matchup in baseball is back. Finally, the Dodgers take on the Padres. We're going to talk about the pitching plan. Who will go Tuesday for the Dodgers? They have not announced their starter. We got an update on Shohei Ohtani. When will he throw his next live BP? Also, 10 big takeaways from the week that was, and why Hyeseong Kim is not playing as much as you would expect. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, ready to parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 clock. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, join the Discord. Thousands of Dodgers fans talking ball 24/7, 365. Also, do me the biggest favor, subscribe to The Big Lead. That's my new show about the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour. But it's Dodgers Padres week. It's Dodgers Giants week. It is a big week in Dodger baseball. And right now, the Dodgers, they're holding on to first place. They're first place right now. They're leading in the division. Right now, as of yesterday, the Dodgers salvaged the series. They won the third game against the Cardinals. They win, and they improved to 39-27, a game up from the Padres, a game up on the Padres in the division. And I asked you guys over on the X, after this 10-game stretch where you've got 3 against the Padres, 3 against the Giants, and then another 4 against the Padres, will the Dodgers still be in first place in the National League West? And right now, 60% of you say yes, while 40% of you say no. Someone in the comments says, I vote no just so I don't jinx them. So let me know down below in the comment section. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think the Dodgers will remain in first place? So much to get into. Drop your comments down below throughout the show. We got my man, Noel. He's rocking with us as always. Producer Noel, looking for your comments, looking for your questions for the 7th inning stretch where we answer all of your hottest, most pressing questions about the Dodgers. I've got a quick interview I did with a Padres reporter previewing the series so we can learn about their weaknesses and their strengths and how mad they still are about losing to the Dodgers last season in the NLDS. But we got so much to get into, guys, here on a Monday edition of Dodgers Dugout Live. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is it's Dodgers Padres. And the big question is, do the Dodgers have the requisite starting pitching to be able to take 2 out of 3, to be able to sweep, to be able to win a game? I mean, it's really up in the air with the Dodgers pitching this series. And before we get into it, I think you have to look at the emotions of this series. This is a Padres team, and I'll take it to my grave. If the Dodgers don't come back to win that series, the Padres have a World Series title. And right now, these two teams, they have a combined 8 World Series. And 8 World Series titles are all the Dodgers. They're still looking for their first Commissioner's Trophy, and we'll see if tonight they play with that emotion, knowing that they let that series get away. And we'll never forget. I mean, the Dodgers, they go down 2-1 in that series. You had Manny Machado. You had Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty telling him to go sit the F down. And Manny Machado, he threw that ball into the Dodgers dugout. And Dave Roberts, he was smart about it. He used it to energize and motivate his players. But really, that series came down to the fact that the Padres offense disappeared. The Padres offense, They had scored 21 runs in the first 26 innings of that series in the NLDS. They scored 0 in the remaining 24. The Dodgers bullpen stepped up in game 4. Yamamoto stepped up in game 5. You got a couple of home runs, one from Kike early, and then another one later in Teoscar. The Dodgers pen, Blake Trinan was outstanding. The Dodgers just came back and they just ripped the heart out of that Padres team. And I think tonight is going to be the start of another great back and forth year in this rivalry. And I know a lot of Dodgers fans don't consider this a rivalry, but by definition, they are division rivals. And yes, they're never going to replace the Giants. The Giants are the Dodgers' rival. But right now, Padres-Dodgers is a better matchup than Giants-Dodgers. It has more juice. The characters are better. They have gotten in better matchups the last couple of seasons. 2022, the Giants, they slayed the Dragon. They beat that 111-win Dodgers team. A couple years later, the Dodgers, they come back from 2-1 in the NLDS, then go on to win the World Series. But the truth is, the reason why the Dodgers and the Padres is a great matchup right now is because of the players for each team. You've got the Joker to our Batman. You've got Manny Machado. You've got Fernando Tatis Jr. Both are having great seasons, and it just goes to show the players, they make up the jersey. It's not the other way around, right? You wouldn't love the Dodgers if it wasn't for Jackie Robinson, Sandy Koufax, Fernando Valenzuela, Oral Hershiser. I mean, the list goes on and on. You love the team because of the players that play for the team, and I think you love this rivalry because these two teams don't like each other. There's bad blood between the Dodgers and the Padres. And Dave Roberts said that this series doesn't really matter and trying to downplay it. And I know what Dave's doing. Dave's doing that because he knows this is not his full roster right now. He's not at a 100%. He knows they could fall out of first place for a little bit of time if things don't go his way. But the truth is he cares, the players care. And then what makes it a rivalry, which I certainly think it is the fans. These fans don't like each other. From the Padres icing out Dodgers fans that don't have San Diego area codes so you can't buy tickets down in Dodger Stadium South, to the fact that they don't chant "Let's go Padres," they chant "Beat LA." I truly believe at this point that Padres fans hate the Dodgers more than they love the Padres. That's how it feels in this series. And I think you're going to see that tonight. You're going to see an energized crowd at Petco Park. You're going to see Dodgers fans there, but the Padres are going to go back to what they do, and that is hate on the Dodgers and hope to get this win. And look, you've just had moments, right? I mean, you've had the Jerkson Profar moment. You've had Clayton Kershaw versus Jerkson Profar. How about when Dennis Santana, threw at the Padres? I mean, it's been going back and forth for a couple of years. I think the number one question in this series is, will the Dodgers get innings from their starting pitching? Because if you look at these probables for this series, the Dodgers got Dustin May going tonight, and they're going up against Nick Pivetta. And Nick Pivetta has been great for them. Pivetta has put together an all-star season to start things off. You got to give them the advantage, at least on the surface level. Pivetta sporting a 3.16 ERA. May has been really good in his last couple starts, a 4.09 ERA. You start to see the swing and miss tick up. And then the second game, the big question is who the Dodgers go with up against Dylan Cease. Because right now, with the injury to Tony Gonsolin, who was originally supposed to pitch in this one, I think Tony Gonsolin was kind of on the way to like cementing himself in this rotation as far as a guy that you could say, okay, even if I give up 4 runs, I'm going to go 5 or 6 innings and hopefully not tax his bullpen. Well, now you don't know. I mean, the options they have, you've got Matt Sauer, you got Bobby Miller, who's pitched better at the minor league level. He did have 5 walks in his last start, but Miller has not been good at the big league level. This season, Bobby Miller, a 12.60 ERA in 5 innings in the 2 games that he's pitched in. In the 1 start he had, he did not look good. And the fact that this is an emotional series, it's going to be a postseason-like atmosphere, you wonder if they put Miller in a situation like that again. It doesn't feel like it's Miller time right now. I think right now Miller is trying to work through some things at the minor league level, get the mechanics where they need to be, get the sequencing where it needs to be, make sure the changeup is his best pitch. It looks like they're going to go with Matt Sauer, though. I think Matt Sauer is the most trusted choice. Miller threw 98 pitches in his last start, so he's built up to go longer. But Sauer, a 3.05 ERA in 30 and 20 and 2/3 innings this season. He's had his moments. Landon Knack, of course, he was optioned, and you would need to replace an injured player to bring the Knack attack back, and he struggled with home runs, so doesn't seem like that would make a lot of sense. So I think they go with Matt Sauer. I think it's Matt Sauer in this game too, going up against Dylan Cease. And then in game 3, it's going to be Randy Vasquez versus Justin Robleski. Now, Justin Robleski was surprisingly pretty decent in his start against the Cardinals. He was pumping high 90s, rounded up to 100 on that pitch in the first inning. So it's a tough spot for him too. And Robleski is a guy that is going to need run support, I think, to kind of deal with the emotions there in his start against the Cardinals. Gave up 4 runs on 6 hits and 6 innings of work. So from the pitching standpoint, from the starting pitching standpoint, you don't have Yamamoto. Kersh isn't going in this series. So they have the pitching advantage in this one. I think it's going to come down to the Dodgers offense hitting, and we'll talk more about that later. But kind of the number one thing you need to know about this next 10 days is this is going to be the gauntlet, the start of the gauntlet in the National League West. The Dodgers clinging onto first place, but right now they're behind the Cubs. They're behind the Mets. And the last thing you want to do if you're the Dodgers is enter the postseason where you don't have home field advantage, or you have to be thrusted into a wild card situation where anything can happen. I think it's a lot more important than people are making it out to be that the Dodgers need to finish with the top 2 best records in the National League. Because everyone told me last year, D-Mac, we don't need 100 wins. We don't need 110 wins. Yeah, but you got 98, finished with the best record, and had home field advantage in the DS, the CS, and the World Series. And in the DS, you had Game 5 at home. In the CS, you won Game 1, and then you won it in Game 6 at home. And then the World Series, you took the first 2 games at home. Do you really think that the Dodgers would have beat the Yankees in 5 games if the first 2 were in New York? I mean, do you really believe that? Right? So let's put more of a premium. Let's put more of a premium on home field advantage. And the Cubs are having a good year. Phillies are having a good year. Mets are having a good year. So it's going to be competitive, and you're going to have to go on a run if you want to secure those top 2 spots. Now, you look at the Dodgers schedule right now. I think you would happily take almost 6-4 in this next 10 games. You got from June 9th to June 19th, a 10-game stretch. You got 3 in San Diego. Then you have the day off on Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you got the Giants at home at Dodger Stadium. You got Father's Day on Sunday. And then you go right back to playing the Padres in a 4-game set. June 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th in San Diego. San Diego coming to LA. So 1 in San Diego, 1 in LA. And you got all those giveaways. The Dodgers, they're giving away a World Series replica trophy. It's probably going to be the closest the Padres will get to a World Series trophy celebration. They can see what a World Series trophy looks like. Then they're giving away the gold player jerseys. So they're doing a Blake Snell bobblehead night. That feels like it's calculated as well. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of emotions in that one as well. But let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think the Dodgers record will be in this next 10 games? Because my heart says 7-3. My brain says 6-4. And I think you would take that because it's going to be a tough stretch of games. But let me know down below in the comment section, because the pitching is not where it's suboptimal at this stage of the season, to say the least, going up against some tough NL West teams. But coming up next, we've got Dodgers Rewind, 10 big takeaways about the week that was. We'll read some of your comments. We're going to do another DFA of the day that I want to get into. I did a little bit of it yesterday. And then we've got a quick interview with a Padres reporter that is telling you what you need to know heading into the series. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. All right, Dodgers summer is among us, and that means more sun, more trips to the ballpark, and more time to do all the things that make summer so special. What's the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer? Spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. I wouldn't be able to host this show if I wasn't getting all my nutrients and meals in throughout the day, and Factor has me covered for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals, pick your summer meals, get that summer fit, and hit those gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor meals arrives fresh and ready to eat. Perfect for any active lifestyle over the summer and beyond. Whether I'm watching a Dodgers game at home or breaking down film or getting ready for a post-game show, I don't have to stress about cooking any longer. I've been able to maintain a very healthy lifestyle since switching over to Factor for my meals, and you should too. Get started at factormeals.com with /Dodgers50 off. That's factormeals.com /Dodgers50 off and use code Dodgers50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Dodgers50 off at factormeals.com /Dodgers50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com /Dodgers50 off. Yeah, by the way, quick story. Yesterday, Noel, I went to a taco truck near my house in Hollywood.
Okay.
I kid you not. And I roll up and they're watching the show and they said, and I ordered my Al Pastor burrito.
There you go.
And I get a Al Pastor taco on the side because I can't get enough. And they're like, wait a minute, D-Mac, you're not going to get a torta? And
No.
I was dying. It was my man George over there on my taco spot on Melrose. So it was pretty hilarious. So shout out to him. And he was like, you really know what a torta is, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's this delicious sandwich here that
there's nothing else to it.
No, that is all I know. That is the torta I know. So I was like, I kind of want to get and take a picture, like, maybe put in the Discord or something,
Man,
like me eating the glizzy, but I just couldn't go without my Al Pastor burrito, man. It's like my Sunday tradition. But shout out to those folks out there rocking with us as always. Met some cool people in Santa Monica at a bar I was out on Saturday too. This guy named Jose. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, so always cool to see you guys IRL. We are definitely going to be out and about this summer for this Dodgers summer. But yeah, so I don't always eat Factor meals, but most of the time I do. And they are delicious. We got Mike Candaza. Padres versus Dodgers is a rivalry. Comparing it to the Giants is dumb because that has decades of history. Padres versus Dodgers will reach that level if Padres keep trying to compete for the next decade. Yeah, I mean, look, I've said this before. I'll say it again. It is a little brother, big brother type of rivalry, but I think big brother is getting a little older. Like he's off at college and then, you're playing him at one-on-one during Thanksgiving. You're like, holy crap. It's like, I used to beat you 11-2. Now it's like 11-7. And we saw it happen in 2022. But like I said, I mean, a lot of rivalries are player dependent. If Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado were on the Giants right now, that rivalry would have more juice because it's player dependent a lot of times. I always compare it to what the Lakers-Suns rivalry was, what the Lakers-Kings rivalry was. It was about D'Antoni versus Phil, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Rajah Bell. I remember I emailed the league on behalf of Kobe Bryant once because he tripped Kobe. But anyways, that was what it was all about. And the Kings were the same way. I mean, you had Vlade, C-Webb, Doug Christie, punching Rick Fox. But you don't talk about Lakers Kings now. You don't talk about Lakers Suns now because those players have moved on. So it's a very player-dependent rivalry for sure. Okay, you got Himmy Turner. Don't lie, D-Mac. Most of the time, you be on them tortas. Hell yeah. That's right. I'm going to give you a Dodgers for life for that one. Dodger for life! Paul Gutierrez. D-Mac, should the Dodgers play the video of CT3 hitting the home run when the Cardinals play at Dodger Stadium? Okay, I'll get to that we'll throw another little extra DFA of the day. But keep firing away down below in the comments section. We will answer more of those comments and questions during the 7th inning stretch a little later. Okay, so let's get into it. First big takeaway today for this week is the Dodgers pitching problems are continuing with the injuries. And the latest injury is about Tony Gonsolin. There was no signs that Tony Gonsolin was injured. He did give up 4 runs in his last start. He had been walking more hitters this season. He's got an 11.5% walk rate. That's his highest since 2021. In his career, he's walking 8.9% of the hitters. So the command hasn't been great, and maybe the injury is impacting that. But this is concerning because this was supposed to be a depth piece, a guy that could eat innings throughout the season and allow those frontline starters, Glasnow, Snell, when Shohei comes back. I mean, the top guys, Yamamoto, to be able to just be those guys, not have to overwork them in any capacity. But look, Gonsolin is going to take some time. The positive news is Dave did say that the UCL is intact. So that's definitely a positive. And it just remains to be seen if that elbow bounces back, because this is starting to get scary here. Because we know the Catman, he's got 9 lives, but we're seeing the injuries pile up. Shoulder, Tommy John. The ERA this year for Tony's at 5, expected at 5.22. So this is concerning because in his last start on Wednesday, he gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, had 6 strikeouts and 3 walks in 5 innings in the Dodgers' loss to the Mets. So I'm curious to see, is he pitching through something? Was he doing that because that's what he did the first time he had the injury? When he went down with Tommy John a couple years ago, the Dodgers were dealing with injuries. He was pitching through stuff, led to a surgery. And this is just kind of how it is now. This is how pitching injuries have evolved in 2025. Remember the good old days of pitching injuries? The trainer would come out. They would look at the arm. You would walk him slowly off into the dugout. Now it's they pitch, and then all of a sudden they're out. That is the concern, that it's something more than that. I hope it's not. The good news is Emmet Sheehan is on his way back, and he's going to be even more valuable now. They're about a couple of weeks away from Emmet Sheehan. I know there's people pushing for Sheehan to start in this Padres series. There's no reason to rush him back and throw him into that series. And we're talking about an Emmet Sheehan that's less than 13 months away from having that Tommy John surgery, internal brace surgery last May. So he's already made it back pretty quickly, and he's looked really good. He had 4 strikeouts on Saturday. He went over 3 innings against Reno, threw 57 pitches, did go out of the game, and those runners that he left on base, they did score. Gave up 2 hits, 1 run, and a walk, had 4 strikeouts. And he's looking really good. I mean, the velocity, he's averaging 95.8 miles per hour. He's hit 97.4. Those are essentially identical to the way he looked a couple of seasons ago. And in his entire rehab stint in the Arizona Complex League and his 2 starts with the Oklahoma City Comets, he's given up a run in 8 innings. He's had 14 strikeouts. He's struck out 14 of the 30 batters that he's faced and only has issued 1 walk. Emmet Sheehan is key here. Emmet Sheehan is going to go a big way in determining how much of these injuries the Dodgers can absorb if they're going to go be aggressive at the trade deadline. If Emmet Sheehan comes back and is lights out and he's electric, that changes the calculus of the situation. So that is the positive from that standpoint, is Emmet Sheehan's looking better. The next big box that he has to check off is you want to see him go at least 4 innings, get up to 5 innings, get up to 70, 80 pitches, and then Sheehan's going to come back. But I'm going to call it right now. Emmet Sheehan is going to be a very, very important part of this Dodgers rotation, possibly the bullpen, because he's a fresh arm that throws explosive stuff. I think as the season progresses, you hope that guys stay healthy. You hope the guys get back, but he's someone that's gone through it And I think that he's going to be big for this team. I think Emmet Sheehan is going to come back and be massive for this Dodgers team. Now, another big takeaway is, you just look at the pitching situation that they've dealt with this season. It's a miracle that they're in first place, considering it's been a season of Squid Game again, where someone dies every week and they're gone. And sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. But after Michael Kopech was activated off the IL on Saturday and he made his season debut on Sunday, it was a soft landing, gave up some hits, had a big punch out. The stuff was pretty solid for sure. He became the 30th pitcher that the Dodgers used this season. The 30th pitcher. For context there. The Dodgers, they set a franchise record by using 40 pitchers last year. They didn't get to their 30th pitcher until their 81st game in 2023. And then they didn't get to their 30th pitcher last year until their 92nd game. This year, the Dodgers are already at 30 pitchers, and you're at 66 games. They're on pace to blow past that number using more pitchers than they have ever had. And you can look at this a couple different ways. One, they're being overly cautious. And anytime anyone has anything, they're sending them to the IL because they just want to have guys ready for October. Or the Dodgers' pitching injury issues are worse than it is for other teams. And I think it's a very complicated conversation. But the truth is that even though it's an epidemic throughout Major League Baseball, pitcher injuries are as bad as they've ever been. Corbin Burns was just lost for the Diamondbacks for the season for Tommy John. Even though it's bad, it's worse for the Dodgers. And is it just the fact that their pitchers throw harder and with higher spin rates? It makes you really wonder and want to ask that question. And I'm curious to see what Andrew Friedman of the organization would say about that. Because they do take flyers on high-risk guys, but it's getting to the point where it's like, really? This is a little much. This is more than any other team. So you got to ask the questions, and we just need the answers. Now, other big takeaway, my pitcher of the week, Sandy Koufax's pitcher of the week, it goes to Yoshinobu Yamamoto once again. Seems like he wins this every single week. This week, 9 strikeouts, had 6 scoreless innings against the Cardinals. The Dodgers didn't score until the 9th inning. They lost the game. He has been at the bottom when it comes to receiving run support this season. He has 6 starts this year where he's given up 0 earned runs. And in those games, he only has 3 wins. So that tells you why I'm not a proponent of the win stat, right? It's a team stat. It does not reflect how good a pitcher is. And I'm excited about Yamamoto. I love the fact that he's having a really great year. He's probably not going to start in the All-Star game. Kodai Senga's having a really good year. And he has a 2.20 ERA, but he's pitched 73 and 2/3 innings. He's already made 13 starts this year. Last year, he made 18. Last year, he had 90 innings of work. My question is, can Yamamoto handle this throughout the course of a season? So hopefully that javelin work is effective. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And he's had an incredible year, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, wow, I see those innings piling up. I see those starts piling up. Is it really worth having 30 starts for Yamamoto, 25 starts for Yamamoto, if he's not at his very best in October? And the good thing is they're going to have guys like Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani that are going to be able to have a lot left in the tank. And I just wonder if you just kind of manage Yamamoto differently just a little bit at some point. And the take that I have is Yamamania in October is much better than Yamamania in June, July, August, and September, right? So I definitely want to see them get strategic with how they're using Yoshinobu Yamamoto. An update on Shohei Ohtani's pitching. He was hit in the back of his foot yesterday. They moved his live BP session to Tuesday. And I think this is what they're going to do with Shohei. I think the plan for Shohei, as far as him being a pitcher for the rest of his career with the Dodgers, I think that it's, let's get him 10 to 12 starts in the regular season. So make sure he's built up and stretched out for the postseason. And I think that's how they're going to play it, not just this year, but next year. Like, I think that for anyone that thinks, oh, Shohei's going to win a Cy Young. It'd be cool if he did. He's talented enough to do it, but that's not the most important thing for him. Individual accolades. He did that with the Angels when he was the Bugatti at the trailer park, right? It led to nothing. He was in Cancun in October. Last October, he was in New York getting red Budweiser and champagne showers and celebrating a title. So I think that that's one of my big takeaways as well, is that the plan you're seeing for Shohei, even though he's coming back off an injury, is going to be the same plan for next year to a degree. Is they're factoring in October as an extra month that he has to pitch. And with the Angels, they're like, bro, we're not getting to the postseason. We're going to be in Cancun. So 1, 2, 3 Cancun. And with the Dodgers, they realized that, hey, for him to win at the highest level, they need his arm when it matters most. So I think the big takeaway is, yes, you're kind of using the injury this year and coming back off the labrum surgery and all that. But I also think that they're going to have to figure something out as far as the roster spot and how it works. And I think you're going to look at his usage, and it's tough to imagine him to continually doing this moving forward. And I think it's what's right for him and what's right for the team. Now, as far as Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, we talked about them. Snell, he's ramping up. Tyler Glasnow says that the body soreness is a little overblown. So it does feel like they're going to get some of those guys back. And I think that for me, as long as you can get two of Ohtani, Snell, and Glasnow at peak performance, they should be fine from a starting rotation standpoint, and you don't have to break the bank on a starter. So that's the kind of the big question right now for them. I mean, Clayton Kershaw was great yesterday. Kersh, in his way back, I mean, that was the Clayton Kershaw that we saw for so many years, right? After the prime Kersh. I'm talking about the reinvented Kersh, right? He had command of all of his three pitches. He had the fastball. He had the slider. He had the curveball. And you do not need a 95, 96, 97 mile per hour fastball if it's playing. So my next big takeaway is Clayton Kershaw, he is beating the washed allegations. He is beating the washed allegations. He is going to be able to help this team. For anyone that is telling me in the comments, hey, D-Mac, Kersh needs to retire, I say, you know what? The Dodgers need Kersh more than Kersh needs them right now. Let's just be honest about that. He went 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, no walks, became the all-time leader with 65 career games in the regular season with at least 7 punch-outs and no free passes. That passes Curt Schilling for most all-time. It's incredible consistency. And then he also, with that 4th strikeout, he passed Zach Greinke. I mean, 2,980 strikeouts all time. Passed Zach Greinke for 20th place in MLB history. Finished the day with 2,983 punch-outs. That's just 17 shy of becoming the 20th player all time to have 3,000 punch-outs. And also just the 5th player to do it with one team. So Kersh isn't washed. He's going to help this team. And like I said, the way that curveball was playing, the way that he was getting strikeouts on sliders in the zone, and that's because the fastball command down in the zone was precise, and he had the feel for that curveball. When he can throw that curveball at 71 and 72, a well-located fastball at 90, 91 is going to play like it's 97, 98 because it's about pitch differential. So that's the biggest key right there. Hey, Sandy Koufax said himself, the best pitch in the history of baseball is a well-located fastball, and that's what set everything up. So 12 swings and misses, 7 strikeouts. He's going to get to 3K as long as he stays healthy. I think that Kersh is beating the washed allegations. Okay, so let's get to the one that everyone wants me to talk about, and that was the big topic on the Dodgers Nation postgame show. Why aren't we seeing more Hyeseong Kim? Why is Hyeseong Kim not playing more? Because the numbers show when he plays, he helps. He's a spark plug. He's a catalyst. Had a triple. Took a cutter on the inside. You've got pitchers trying to bust him inside, and he's turning on it. Keeps that foot down. Quick hands. Gets the hands in. Made a really nice catch in center field. Track one down the warning track that could have gone for extra bases. Kersh approved of that. But the big issue for Kim is that Dave Roberts does not want to play him against lefties. He has 2 at-bats so far against lefties this season. 2 at-bats so far against lefties. You wonder, wait, how is the at-bats against lefties? How do you do? Must have struck out twice, right? Must have grounded out. Must have popped out. This year against lefties, yes, it's an extremely small sample size, 2 at-bats. He has 2 hits. And one of those hits is a home run. So do we need to see more from him against lefties? Because at the minor league level, he had an OPS over 1,000. I messaged someone that covers the KBO, said he was fine against lefties in the KBO. But the reason why he's not playing is this. 1, Kike Hernandez was brought back to rake against lefties. And Kike Hernandez is going to need playing time throughout the year because he's going to factor into the postseason. He was massive for the Dodgers last year. Dude turns in to Barry Bonds. He turns into Prime Mookie in the postseason. And they're trying to keep him relevant this year. Now, has he been good against lefties? This year so far, Kike Hernandez in 52 at-bats versus Southpaws is 10 for 52 with 4 home runs and a double. He's hitting 192 against lefties with a 701 OPS. So he's not hitting lefties well, but he's getting opportunities against lefties because that is the role that they had carved out for him on this team. It was play some outfield, play some infield when needed, and then get your at-bats versus lefties and also righties too. I mean, he's played a good amount. So they're committed to Kike getting at-bats versus lefties. They want to optimize Hyeseong Kim versus righties. But my question is, if you are the Dodgers, do you realistically think, do you legitimately think that Hyeseong Kim can be Hyeseong him in the postseason? If the answer is yes, and you're not going to be aggressive and scour the market, as Bob Nightingale said, when it comes to adding another left-handed bat, if you are not going to do that and you're going to kind of roll with the pieces that you have off the bench, then you need to give Kim as many opportunities as you can in the next couple of months to make sure that there's nothing that he hasn't seen in October. And sure, you could use him in that same role in October, but the guy could help. I mean, the guy could make the team better potentially. And the truth is right now, we just don't know if he can have success against lefties and if he can make the team better as an all-around player. And look, you look at the numbers, they're ridiculous, right? A 414 batting average for Kim, 443 on base, 586 slug, a 194 weighted runs created plus. Is that who he is? Of course not. Of course, this version of Hyeseong Kim is not the real Hyeseong Kim because the numbers that he's putting up in his plate appearances are better than what Shohei puts up. So no, Hyeseong Kim isn't a better offensive player than Shohei Ohtani, but this is a limited sample size. But the question is Michael Conforto a lot better than his numbers say they are? And is Hyeseong Kim's numbers a lot worse than they say they are? What's the reality there? What's the real Hyeseong Kim for the second half of the season? And what's the real Michael Conforto? Because that's where Conforto factors in to the conversation. Because if Hyeseong Kim can hit, if HSK can be respectable at the plate, well, then guess what you can do with them? You can play him in center field. And when you can play him in center field, you can kick Andy Pages to the corner outfield spots where he is Gold Glove caliber. Andy Pages leads all Major League outfielders and Major League players in defensive runs saved. He's got an absolute hose of an arm. He's got range. And when you put him in the corner outfield spots, he's elite. Center field, he's not elite. Corner, he is. With Kim, if he's an above average defender in center, you can mix him around. So that's kind of the big question there. Do you do that with Hyeseong Kim? Have him in center, put Paz in left, put Conforto on the bench or move on from him and then put Teo in right? So that's the biggest thing. Is the biggest domino is if they really believe in Kim enough to have him in center full time, and have him kind of mix it up with Tommy Edman as well, second and center, well, then that's kind of the big dilemma for you as it relates to Michael Conforto. Because if Kim can play, he almost makes Michael Conforto more expendable, because Conforto is not a plus player off the bench. He's not an above average runner as a pinch runner. He's not an above average defender as a defensive substitution. So if Conforto wants to stay on this roster and be a part of this team, he has to just hit in his role, and that will change things. So yeah, that's kind of the number one thing. Dave Roberts has said a couple days ago, the reason why Hyeseong Kim didn't play was simply because he just chose not to play him. I think you got to give him a start against a lefty. I think you have to do that to see what that looks like and give him more at-bats, because the potential is certainly there, and he's looked really, really good, and he's made the most of his opportunities. All right, guys, coming up next, we have got some seventh inning stretch, and then we've got an interview from a Padres reporter. We're going to preview the series. So let's do that next here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
The seventh inning stretch.
All right, here we go. Joseph H. D-Mac, you said after 2023 that we aren't allowed to call it Dodger Stadium South. Stick to your word. I appreciate you calling me out, but guess what? I'm not. I'm going back on my word. You know why? Because they choked. They choked in the NLDS. You had 24 innings without scoring a run. I'm sorry. I'm going back. And the reason it's still Dodger Stadium South is because the reason why there's as many butts in the seats is because of the team up north. So I'm going back on my word, okay? I just have to say that. Michael Reza, we should nickname Kim Flash because he's so fast. I think Comet works better, and that's his real nickname, so we'll just stick with that one. Chris P. Flug, let's hope Kim will have a breakout series versus the Padres, forcing Doc to sit Conforto. It's going to be based on opportunities, though. Tom V. Just read a statement from Robert saying that this series against the Padres are more focused on winning this series than the Dodgers are. WTF kind of BS is that from Roberts. Yeah, I mean, that was something that I don't love. I mean, they always like to say we like to win a ball game and go out there and be aggressive and try to win any series. But yeah, I mean, the truth is this series is more important to the Padres than it is for the Dodgers, right? You've got your best pitchers going. You're at home. You're the team that choked away. You choked away the NLDS the way that you did. So it's true. And the Dodgers aren't at full strength. I mean, having said that, you still have your offensive players there. You still have a lot of great talent up and down this lineup. So you have to be sure that you're going out there and you're giving it your best effort. So this is a team full of competitors. And I think Dave is kind of saying that a little bit. Major Chip Hazard, really, I think Kim is going to be the future shortstop for our Dodgers. But with Mookie there, I think Kim should be second base. Yeah, Mookie, he's been above average at shortstop, and the bat has really come around. In fact, reminds me, I got to give my batter of the week, and Mookie Betts is my position player of the week. Mookie missed 4 games with that broken left toe. Then he came back this past week. Mookie went 11 for 25 with a home run, 2 doubles, had a 11-21 OPS. He had 4 multi-hit games during the week. Should have had one yesterday. Outside of the home run, you had that hard line out that had a high expected batting average in the first, and you had that BS play by Wynn that wasn't overturned. That should have been a base hit for Mookie there. So Mookie was great. I asked Mookie about shortstop impacting his offense, and hey, I think he took that to heart. I really do. After that, he's been playing like at an MVP level. He's been fantastic. Joseph H. D-Mac, you know the SD. Are you going to SD to give us some on the ground reporting? I might go Wednesday. We'll see. Craig Osterberg, D-Mac, what'd you think of Kopech? I thought the stuff played for sure. I think that command-wise is going to take a little bit of time to get back to the guy he was last year, and then you want to see him top out at over 100 when he's at his very best. But I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the strikeout to Nootbaar, challenged him with a 4-seamer up in the zone, got a couple lineouts, got a pop out. So wasn't the dominant Kopech, but still, I'm glad that he's back and they need him. Strider, hear you 120. You guys know what SD really stands for. Season done, still depressed.
Finish him.
Brian Costello, bro, I'm still laughing at the elite level of trolling by the Dodgers against the Padres with the replica trophy giveaway this series against them. LMAO, yeah, I think it's hilarious. I think the next series they should add bobbleheads, do River Ryan, do Tanner Scott, do Roki Sasaki. I mean, there's a lot of ones you could do. Dodgers suck. Wake up, Shohei. The bus to San Diego is leaving. I don't get that one, but Alex Andrade, for those who want to see Teo in left field, the front office knows that right field is his best field, so forget it. You won't see it. Teo any other place but right field. Yeah, absolutely. Teoscar Hernandez, he needs to be in right because that's where he feels most comfortable. And I think that when he renegotiated his contract and they were going to go back and forth, I'm sure there were some conversations about that's where he profiles best. And hey, Teo's slumping right now, man. A couple guys slumping heading into the series. Teo's 2 for 24 this past week with a double. Freddie Freeman this past week went 5 for 25. He was 1 for his last 16. So it'd be good to see those guys getting it going. But like I was saying too, I mean, you could have Kim in center as well, and that kicks Andy Paz to left, and you have better defense there. DJ Vader, D-Mac, what happened to Rookie of the Year? He got injured. Do you not follow the team? I mean, what do you expect? The guy got injured and he wasn't at his best. But I still think that talent-wise, I wouldn't bet against Roki. And you're talking about a guy that they're paying $6.5 million to and a minor league contract. Every single team would love to still have Roki Sasaki, and he could still be he's my Rookie of the Year and always will be. Mario Torres, D-Mac, you think Glasnow is shying away from a Tommy John surgery? I don't think so. I mean, I think that for him, it's different. I mean, we talked about how the spine movement has changed because of the different delivery and just kind of what he's done mechanically. And I think it's more shoulder related right now and just kind of just feeling good and more athletic, as he likes to say. I don't think it's Tommy John related. I don't, but we'll see. I mean, nothing would shock me when it comes to pitchers these days. But based on his word, he's saying that he's feeling better and that he's had no setbacks. Himmy Turner, you say right now, but historically, it's always been Lakers, Celtics, Dodgers, Giants, Chargers, Padres, and Clippers. All the same amount of rings as everyone here in the chat. Yeah, I mean, look, the ratings reflect that. The ratings reflect Dodgers, Padres. It was very, very well received and highly viewed last year. I mean, it is player dependent, and that's how it's always going to be. I mean, like I said, Manny Machado and Tatis were on the Giants. It'd have more juice. Right now, that's the best matchup in baseball right now. It's Dodgers, Padres, and just like there was a time when the Lakers, Suns, and the Lakers, Kings, Lakers, Blazers, even before that, was the best matchup in basketball, but you don't talk about it today. Historically, it's always going to be the Giants. We know that. The reason why the Giants are in San Francisco is because of the Dodgers. They had to go together. They are our birth rivals, essentially, but that doesn't mean that the Padres-Dodgers doesn't have that juice. And like I said, the Padres-Dodgers, they have a combined 8 World Series titles. All 8 are the Dodgers. So you really can't have a true rival with a team that hasn't really won anything, but you can still have bad blood. And that's what makes it fun, is that there's bad blood there. Major Chip Hazard. Teo arm is not accurate at all. His arm talent is better suited for left field. Daniel Reyes, D-Mac, Tanner Scott had another good game. Got to be feeling good about that. Yeah, I went up to Tanner Scott after the last game we saw at Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers versus the Mets, and I asked Tanner Scott, hey, those mechanical changes that you made after doing that deep dive with Connor McGinnis, with Mark Pryor, with the pitching coaches, have you already implemented that? And what does it look like now? And I can't really say what he told me, but I will say that he was, let's just put it this way, he was not happy with his mechanics early on the season. And he thinks that the adjustments that he made, where he's not flying out, he's not flying open, and he's more direct to the plate, that instantly he's seen the results. And the numbers back it up. On Sunday, Scott, no strikeouts, but a clean 1 inning, no walks, no hits, threw 14 pitches, couple ground ball outs against the Mets. Gave up a hit, but had 2 strikeouts before that. And then the one before that had 2 strikeouts. So ever since he's made those mechanical adjustments, he's gone 3 innings, hasn't allowed a run. I've never said, I told you guys that Tanner Scott was a lot closer than you believed. And I still believe that right now, that Tanner Scott is still going to be that elite closer. Just ask Shohei Ohtani how Tanner Scott looks in the postseason. But all right, guys, couple more. Give me your predictions too. How will this series play out? I think with the way that Mookie's playing, I think Freddie's due, Teo's due. They're going to be ready to play this series. I still have them taking 2 out of 3 because I believe in the offense, but that's definitely the optimistic Mitchell on a half full take. I want your thoughts. Give me your player of the series prediction. I think Mookie has another big series and builds on that. D Powers, is Ohtani's ankle okay? He looked like he was really in bad pain when he got hit. They moved the live BP back, but he is okay. He said he was fine after the game, and Dave mentioned that as well. But okay, so I got my man who covers the Padres. We're going to get into this interview, and during it, let me know, what are your keys to the series? Who's going yard? But let's get into it. Got my man Javier Reyes, covers the Padres, and he'll let you know how the Dodgers could win this series. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. And joining me now is Javier Reyes, the host of Locked On Padres. This guy has forgotten more about the Padres than most people ever known. And Javier, we were just talking about it. We're almost 2 months into the season, and for some reason, this is the first time that the Dodgers and the Padres have faced off. Yes, Dodgers-Yankees is great. Yes, the Dodgers and Giants, that's their traditional rival. When it comes to juice, when it comes to two teams kind of not liking each other, the fan base is going at it, I think this is the best matchup in baseball right now in the big 2025.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Yankees Red Sox is historically, obviously, it's like practically like a gag war between those two. But then nowadays, it's just the Red Sox are never as good as them at the same time. There are other teams that honestly have been more successful, not even honestly, objectively have been more successful than the Padres in their own division, which is the Giants. And this is what I find so fascinating, which is like the juice isn't there though, man. You know what I mean? That's more of just good teams battling it out. With the Padres and Dodgers, it really is like Twitter gets crazy. The games get crazy. Things get like nasty with these. So there's a real hatred. There's a real juice to the matchup, which is why I think you're right. Like 100% the best rivalry in baseball. And I'm shocked, dare I say appalled, that we had to wait all the way until June 9th to finally get this. But you know what? At least it's here.
Yeah, and I think what makes this rivalry, if you want to call it a division rival, if you want to call it a rivalry, whatever you want to call it, I think what makes this matchup so enticing now and intriguing then is because of the fact that the Padres took something from the Dodgers in 2022. You took what could have been one of the greatest seasons of all time. You win 111 games, you knock off the Dodgers in the DS. And then last season, I hate to say this, I have a lot of Padres friends, and they hate it when I tell them this. I tell them, you beat the Dodgers, you are World Series champions. And you can take that a lot of different ways. I know that's got to hurt. And we know the Dodgers, they came back down 2-1. They win game 4. They win game 5. But just setting the stage for this series, this is a Padres team that a lot of fans thought, okay, maybe they're going to go in a different direction. Maybe they're not going to be as aggressive. Juan Soto has been gone for a couple of years. You kind of look at the pieces where they're at. But the Padres were one of the surprise teams early on. A lot of the trendy pick was, oh, it's the Diamondbacks. Oh, it's the Giants, right? Yeah. But the Padres are just a game behind the Dodgers in the NL West. Talk to me about what's gone right for the Padres early on this season.
What's gone right so far is you got a month, and he's kind of been AWOL since then, but you got a month of MVP 2019 through 2021 for Fernando Tatis Jr. He's been amazing. He's still an amazing defender at the very least, but he's hit a little bit of a rough patch. I think he's in like a really bad slump, and he's trying to figure things out. And then I think, you've got Manny Machado. Dodger fans love him, as we all know. He was a player that looked like he was just going to be a regular great player, and that the superstar, maybe he's gotten over the age curve. Instead, he's not. He's been by far the best offensive player on the team this year, and he's the best third baseman in baseball, if you want to go by Fangraphs wins above replacement. But really the big thing, it's been bullpen and pitching that has carried them, especially the bullpen, which was like Cleveland Guardians level for the first month. Hit a little bit of bad stop, right? The Angels had a really bad walk-off win against them. But then after that, they've just got so many nasty guys in that bullpen. And their starting pitching has, at the very minimum, kept them afloat with guys like Michael King, who is now injured. But Nick Pivetta has been a godsend for this team. I mean, you mentioned nobody thought the Padres are, after this past season. You're not wrong. I'm also like, man, that was a World Series team. It just felt like it was. But you lose that. You have all the things that the Dodgers sign, right? Like every move that they make. And then for them to get Roki Sasaki, which was the affordable player that the Padres could get, everyone's like, oh man, they're not going to go for it. It's going to be reset year. Then they sign Nick Pivetta, which he might be an all-star at this rate. Like he's been incredible for this team. So that was a long answer, but it really feels like if I had to wind it down, you've got an amazing month out of Tatis. Machado's been back to superstar MVP levels, and the bullpen and Nick Pivetta. I just been I don't want to say surprise, but clearly the reasons that this team, even when you've got Tyler Wade with a 490 OPS, they've got no catching, the reason that they've been able to stay in the race.
Yeah, and the Dodgers are going to see Nick Pivetta tonight going up against Dustin May. Pivetta sporting that 3.16 ERA. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a pretty damn good shot he's on that National League All-Star team. Do you want to talk about Manny Machado? I always say, I mean, in LA, you're once a Dodger, always a Dodger, unless you're Josh Reddick, Alex Verdugo, or Manny Machado. I think it's one of those three. And, it's included in that name. But here's what I'll say about Manny Machado. I've talked to Dave Roberts a couple different times. He absolutely loves Manny. And yes, they had that little thing in the DS where he threw the ball, and Dave said after the fact that he was just looking for a spark. I don't think Dave took that personal. He just did the smart managerial thing. It was like, hey, I'm going to find something to get my team energized, to get them motivated, and he took it. And he knows that Manny can do that to the opposing team. He plays with the attitude, plays with the swagger. Here's the thing, though. Love Manny, hate Manny, you're going to respect his game because, I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, he's been in the league for, feels like forever, since 2012, and he got that new deal, and you're wondering, when is the fall off going to be? I wonder this about Freddie Freeman, right? When are we going to see the fall off? With Mookie Betts, the fall off. We haven't seen it for any of these guys, and they're continuing to be elite and get better. And you look at Manny Machado this season, it's kind of crazy. You look at the numbers he's putting up in 318. I mean, you look at the way runs created plus, he's like 50% above league average. He's already over 60 WAR for his season. And then Fernando Tatis Jr., the other guy that Dodgers fans absolutely adore. We'll see him, shaking it in the outfield, kind of getting the crowd involved. But is it those two guys that are carrying, or is there someone else that maybe has surprised you a little bit in this Padres line the Dodgers need to be aware of?
First of all, I agree with everything said. Dave Roberts, by the way, kind of like a Padres fans sports hate him. They were more bad at the media after that, by the way, in my opinion. But more people were like, why are you guys all taking him 100% at his word and ignoring everything else that happened in that game? We don't have to get into that, though. All love. But with this, I will say that it's just with these two guys, with Freddie, I also want to just give a shout out to Freddie. 132 WRC plus every year since 2013 is stupid. Like, I don't understand how that happens. And I was one of those people that was like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's baseball. Maybe he just falls off with the Dodgers. Nope, not happening. I think when it comes to the guys that were unexpected, it's really important to mention that because that's what helped the Padres enter the next level last year. Donovan Solano, Kyle Higashioka, and PED suspension man now, Jurickson Profar, right? Like, all those guys helped build onto that lineup. Obviously, Jackson Merrill was great too. But for me, it's pretty simple. For this team, who's been the under the radar guy that really produced for them. And that's Gavin Sheets, which is arguably more insane than the Jurickson Profar situation, because at least Jurickson Profar had been a good major league player before. He got a lot of pitches and he'd been good with the Padres. He was like a 2-win player for them one year. But Gavin Sheets has been a guy that they got him for nothing. They picked him up off the scrap heap from the White Sox of all teams. Like, if you can't make the White Sox, that must mean you're doomed, right? And what the Padres did is they let it roll in spring training. They kind of took him out of the outfield because he's never been really a good defender. And I think he's just fully embraced the launch angle type of thing. This is a guy who he's not been incredible. He does strike out a decent amount. He doesn't always have the best walk rate, but he's selling out for power and it's working. His hard hit is all the way through the roof. He's had some big games. He had a 6 RBI game like a couple weeks ago, right? This has just been one of those guys who he's not necessarily a lifer. He's not a guy that needs to be extended, but these are the type of players that make a difference because you don't see it coming. And he's a guy that if you just hit him against righties and you balance it out, make sure he's not hitting against lefties, he's a nice big contributor and can absolutely put one in the seats. I mean, what does he have right now? I think he has 11. He has 11 home runs so far this year. He's 4 off from his career high. So I think that Sheets has just been amazing. The Derry Bonds nickname is amazing. That's been the guy, absolutely, in terms of under the radar.
Yeah, 11 home runs for Sheets. I mean, that definitely is like a lot of production from a guy that you didn't really think was going to do a lot. But I mean, you got those guys every single year, I think, around the league, and the Padres are really good at kind of getting guys in their system and taking advantage of that. Now, as far as the Dodgers side go, I want to point out they signed Tanner Scott, $72 million deal. And look, he wasn't elite sub 2 ERA Tanner Scott that he's been for the Marlins of the Padres last couple seasons. I had people in my comments telling me that they believe that he was a double agent from the San Diego Padres that infiltrated to ruin the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Last week, he made some mechanical adjustments. He didn't like the way that his right side was kind of opening out, and he made some adjustments, and he's been better the last week. But who's taking that role for the Padres? I mean, we know Estrada, we know Suarez are still elite, but I mean, you talk about this bullpen. You mentioned it a little earlier. I mean, this is a dominant bullpen. A 3.03 ERA. It's third in baseball. You've gotten big time lights out contributions from that group. But who's kind of taking the Tanner Scott role in that pen?
Oh man, I mean, Tanner Scott. What a guy. We love him. Killed Shohei in the playoffs. But when it comes to the bullpen right now, who's taken over? I mean, he was still good last year. So Jason Adam is probably the guy in terms of just like the literal role. But the Padres have gotten a lot out of Estrada, who obviously was going viral last year when he had like the 13 straight strikeouts or whatever it was. But this is a pretty deep bullpen. I think that in terms of guys who have stepped up, though, let's leave it at that, because Suarez, he's been better this year. He looked a little bit shaky last year at points, but he's been awesome this year outside one appearance or two. It feels like the guy that has stepped up is Yuki Matsui for this Padres team. 3.16 ERA. He's had a couple bad moments. He's still used in low leverage, but he blew up at the wrong times last year. But the stuff was always there. And as long as he locates his fastball really well, he had a great strikeout this weekend on Christian Yelich, bottom of the zone. In terms of his off speed, guys cannot, I don't care who you are. It is just so good. The split finger fastball is unbelievable. So Yuki Matsui just like stepping up, I think has been a big thing as well. And then it's probably Wandy Peralta. That's been a decent contributor for this team. He's fallen down a little bit as of late, but I think what happened is not as much a replacement, but they just already had a lot before Tanner Scott, right? You had Estrada, you had Adam, you had Suarez. Now you have Yuki being better. Wandy Peralta stepped up in a big way. They just had enough that I actually think Tanner Scott was the least of their worries. I actually did a dumb article for Just Baseball ranking the worst moments of the Padres offseason. Tanner Scott was actually really low because my thing was, I think you can survive losing any reliever in this league, but I think you can survive if you've got Estrada, Adam, and Suarez for sure. And they've shown that this year.
Yeah, it's a big debate. I mean, the volatility of relievers. Do you want to pay those guys? I think you mentioned Shohei Ohtani. I think Shohei hit up Friedman, say, hey, I deferred all that money. I don't like how Tanner Scott made me look at the postseason. I don't want to deal with that again. So at the very worst, he doesn't have to face him. And if that's the floor of that, then fine. But the good thing for the Dodgers is he is performing better of late. Now, when it comes to when things aren't going right for the Padres, when the Padres are losing games, kind of what does it look like? I'll tell you, for the Dodgers standpoint, it's been a season where we're less than 70 games into the season and you're already at 30 pitchers used. The Dodgers have 17 quality starts of the season. That's bottom 5. They have the fourth least amount of starts were 6+ innings from their starting pitcher. They're just not getting linked from their starters. Blake Snell, he's only made 2 starts. Glasnow's missed most of the season. Roki Sasaki went down. I mean, this entire rotation has not looked like the one that they were expecting to get. So you haven't gotten that length, and that leads to a bullpen getting taxed. It leads to games where the offense, the opposing team kind of goes off. And then really, this has been a really great team. The Dodgers first in baseball, runners in scoring position. There was a point against the Cardinals where they were 1 for their last 28. So they can kind of go into their cold streaks as well. But what does it look like for the Padres when they're struggling in games?
Well, first of all, I'd be remiss not to mention, you mentioned sleeper agent with Tanner Scott. Just one quick thing. Mike Rizzo is the sleeper agent between our two teams, throwing in Trey Turner for no reason. And the Max Scherzer trade was the crazy, which, by the way, happened on my birthday. So not a great day for me. But
I think that was Preller's idea, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember that it was always Scherzer was the rumor. Ken Rosenthal, the real enemy of Padres Twitter, posts close to acquiring him. And then not only do the Dodgers get him, they also get Trey Turner. for what ended up being mostly nothing. I know what's his face? Kybert Ruiz has been a little bit better this year, but mostly nothing. I couldn't stand it. I was like, oh, you just threw in Trey Turner.
That was his arson judge moment for Rosenthal.
That was absolutely. But in terms of what you were saying before, you mentioned Dodgers first in high leverage situation, first in runners in scoring position. That is kind of the weakness of this Padres team this year. They've had a couple of good guys. Luis Reyes, as he always has, he's hitting 300. I think he's 340 with runners in scoring position. He does his job, but it's the rest of the team. Fernando Tatis Jr. has not been as great with runners in scoring position and especially high leverage situations. Maybe that goes up. That's a storyline to watch. He loves playing the Dodgers, so that could be there. Manny Machado, he's produced big time, but then it's like Jackson Merrill a little bit, and then Xander Bogaerts is just bad in every respect. But then it's also the left field for this Padres team. Oscar Gonzalez, Tirso Ornelas, Jason Hayward, Tyler Wade, whoever it is, they are not hitting. Brandon Lockridge, the last one, they are not hitting with runners on base. It is a death zone at the bottom of this lineup with their catching duo, especially. On top of that, so that would probably be the weakness, is that this Padres lineup has just been the antithesis of what they were last year. Part of that is losing some bats. Part of that is guys just not stepping up as they usually should. So that'll be something to watch. I mean, maybe if there's less starting pitching in LA, maybe that'll help them out. And maybe just that it's the Dodgers that'll help them out. But that's been easily the biggest storyline for them this year. They are hitting 263. I'm sorry, they're hitting 248 with runners in scoring position, which ranks 17th. And in terms of WRC plus, they are 24th in Major League Baseball with runners on base. So yeah, not great, man. Not great.
Yeah, when it comes to overall offensive production, the talent in this lineup, I mean, Mookie Betts has just had his best week offensively after getting off to a slow start by his standards. A lot of the questions were, is him playing shortstop taken away from the offense? Last week, he's really turned on, had a big home run yesterday, hitting the ball harder. Freddie's going through a slump. He's won for his last 16. Teoscar Hernandez is going through a slump. But I think the number one thing for the Dodgers has to be starting pitching. I mean, you got Dylan Cease going in this series. You got Pivetta going in this series. The Dodgers, you got Dustin May tonight. And then you got Justin Robleski going on Wednesday, and Tuesday is still TBD, and we'll see what they do there. I mean, do they bring up a 4A guy to come up and eat it? Do they go the route where you see Landon Knack come up? I mean, they go a lot of different ways, but from a starting pitcher advantage, the Padres certainly have that in this first go around. The Dodgers are going to have to score runs. I mean, we know that sometimes that park, it's like you look up, it's the sixth inning and both teams have 0 runs. Right. Yeah. It's just like, if that's the kind of game it is, I don't think it bodes well for the Dodgers early. I think you need some early offense to give Dustin May. I mean, he's pitched a lot better of late too. I mean, he's really kind of just eased into his season. I mean, he's coming off a second major arm surgery and he's looked a lot better. The swing and miss is up for him, but it's going to be about the Dodgers bats. Do they show up? And I think the interesting subplot here is like, I mean, the emotions from the Padres and their fans and everything that happened last year, because I mean, the last time they left that ballpark, they thought, okay, we're going to Dodger Stadium. What happened? So it's a return to that. And I think it's going to have that like postseason electricity vibes early. I really do. I think the emotions are going to play a factor in which team kind of embraces that. I think has the edge.
Yeah. I mean, first series since then. And again, we alluded to this at the first segment, but like it got ugly, right? Like with the Dave Roberts situation, with the Jack Flaherty hitting, I think he hit Tatis, and then with the beer being thrown, and then the like all sorts of stuff happening, and it ended up being obviously electric entertainment. In my opinion, I would have preferred a different outcome, no bias intended. But I think that, yeah, man, I mean, we've seen random regular season games. You remember like the Jorge Mateo game? Like where and then it was like for no reason that Donner Silo is like, oh, they're gonna fight, like all this stuff. It could be a mundane Monday night for sure, but guys are gonna show up. Padres are up there in attendance. They sell out random Tuesday night Angels games. The fire is gonna be there, man. Like I can't wait. I can't not wait. I don't think we'll have any type of beanball nonsense or anything like that. I think both of these teams, frankly, don't care about that. And I think that when it comes to it, though, Padres fans are going to be upset, man. They're so upset. And the 24, right? Not the Jack Bauer show, but the 24 straight scoreless innings that has been really just hanging over them ever since. So I think that it's going to be really important for this team and fan base. Just show up. You know what I mean? I don't even think they need to win, but just to have a game, not get killed or anything like that, which could be possible because this is still a obscenely talented lineup. And frankly, you saying that they're in a slump scares me because that means they're gonna reignite.
They're due, right?
For this one. Yeah, they're due.
Yeah, you mentioned the Jorge Mateo. I mean, bring back. They should just bring back all the usual suspects, all the great main characters in this podcast. Like, bring back Dennis Santana so we can throw at him again in extra innings. Unsuspend Jerkson Profar for this one. Sign him to a 3, get a little 3-day deal. Just find some way. Just get all the characters in place because they're definitely the Joker to the Dodgers Batman. I'm probably pretty sure you kind of feel the same way. But before we get out of here, give me the number one key to the series for the Padres. And if you want to throw out a prediction, you totally can. I mean, you got 3 games. We'll be back at it at Dodger Stadium next week.
Got to hit the starting pitching. Simple as that. You just got to hit the starting pitching. They have been a very mediocre offense for a while now. Like I said before, does Tatis wake up? Does he get back to his usual stuff? I don't think he's going to be this like 250 hitter that he is right now for much longer. I think he's going to figure it out. But that's kind of the storyline because if you have the starting pitching advantage and bullpen, let's just say at worst that it's a wash, right? That they both offset each other, then it's starting pitching right now, right? Like with Nick Pivetta, Dylan Cease is going to be a very interesting start. He got killed by them last time. He still has a fastball slider combo, and Dodgers can do well off of pitchers like that. So do they show up? I don't know. Yes, Michael King's not there, but you got to have a good series. And at the very minimum, just don't get killed because you're facing them again in LA for 4 next week. Absolutely bonkers next week for Padres baseball. And they also play the D-backs. Just like throwing that in there, still a division rival. I know they lost Corbin Burns, but it's going to be a great series, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going down. I mean, the Dodgers playing the Giants. I mean, all these NL West foes kind of getting after it. And I think we'll see what happens when the dust settles, who's on top of this division. I think that's the number one thing for the Dodgers is can you build a lead? Can you keep a lead? Are you going to fall behind? I mean, this next 10 days with their starting pitcher situation, it is going to really depend on the offense carrying, and hopefully you get the best out of what you have from your starters. And you get Kopech back, Kirby Yates back, and there's an uptick in the bullpen play for sure. But it's going to be fun no matter what. Padres, Dodgers tonight, Petco Park in San Diego. Must-see TV, electric environment. I'm sure Padres fans are going to do the beat LA. I'm sure it'll get ugly. We'll see, the Padres, and we'll see that dude middle finger the guy like he did that one time. The guy who
amazing
looked like
gif. The GIF
Jack
is incredible.
The GIF is incredible. Where's that guy? Bring that guy back. Honestly, I respect
whoever that guy is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, you just got to go for it, man. But thanks again, Javier. But guys, if you don't follow Javier Reyes, do that. It's not just Padres. He is a great all baseball knower. The dude knows ball with the best of him. And Padres, honestly, for me, like I'm always, listening to Padres, Giants stuff, keep friends close, keep enemies closer, right? You gotta know your foe for sure. So go listen to his podcast too, Locked On Padres on the Locked On Podcast Network. But Javier, thanks again, and bad luck this series. But we'll catch up with you soon after the series, my man.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait.
Bad luck this series. There he goes, my man Javier. Hey, honestly, you got to know your foe, right? And I wish them bad luck for the series, and I hope the Dodgers get that sweep. But all right, guys. Long show. Take a couple comments here. Mr. Classic, Dodgers lose tonight. I'm calling the Savannah Bananas. I like that one. Michael K. Kim would be Rookie of the Year if he got to play every day. That's a great point. I mean, if he gets opportunities to other teams, if he's having the kind of success he's having on a regular basis, who knows? I mean, that's the kind of talent that he has for sure. Now, the Dodgers don't have a ton invested in him. And I think that's a factor. But I think at this point, he's earned more time. Bilal K. I love it for sure. Wait. How I control the air by not showing up after loss. That's not true at all. That's absolutely not true at all whatsoever. I do most post-game shows on schedule. So, well, okay, just making up stuff. I like it. Tom De La Rosa for sure. But all right, guys, got Tom D-Mac. How come Roberts doesn't use the bunt? Kim can bunt and they don't use it. Does Roberts is he not able to manage the bunt? Yeah, they just don't bunt. They don't really bunt. That's not how they use their players in those situations. I think that there's opportunities for more of that, but we don't see it a ton. All right, guys, so running out of time, so let's go to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
All right, today for the walk-off, we're taking a look at the new hats that were released today to celebrate the 4th of July. Every 4th of July, You get the 4th of July hats. A lot of times they're navy, and you get the American flag and the interlocking LA. These ones are over the top. These ones are over the top. You got the blue bill, you got the light blue on the top, and then you have the LA interlocking logo with the American flag inside. I don't hate the interlocking LA. That looks great. For me, it's the rope. I'm not feeling that rope right there. That rope, I'm not loving these. I'm not loving the rope. I think for a game hat, I'm not that into it. The rope. I think if they did without that, I think they'd be a little better. I'm good. Yeah, I don't know. Noel, what do you think about these?
I don't know. I feel like I got to see it on the players before I make my decision.
It's a good point.
See it in person,
That changes everything.
I'm not fully opposed to the rope.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, compared to years past, they had some really nice ones. They had some really nice ones with the Navy. And look, it's all fun and games. It's to celebrate. I love, of course, what they represent. But these are going to take some getting used to. Not big on the rope. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. And remember, nothing, absolutely nothing brings us together like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.